Hi, Surarn from MacLeod here. I decided to do a short video about Shadow Priest and what to expect going into Legion. To be honest, I'm actually re-rolling away from the class, but it has nothing to do with the class itself and more what's needed in the guild. To start off, I thought I'd list a couple of things we lost going into Legion. So, they changed our resource system from Shadow Orbs to Insanity. We lost our permanent Shadow form and it have kinda turned into a CD called Void form. We also lost our Devouring Plague as well as Mind Flay Insanity, however we still have Mind Flay. We lost our Halo, Cascade and Divine Star talents, with Halo and Divine Star only being available for healing priests. Mind Spike is now a talent, but it's not similar to what we had in Warlords, so a dotless rotation isn't a thing going into Legion. I also recommend to never ever spec Mind Spike. Our only sprint nowadays is Power Word Shield together with the Body and Soul talent, since our precious Angelic Feather is only available for healing priests. They removed Weakened Soul, so Power Word Shield from different priests now stack on one target. So, for all you priests that were used to having amazing movement speed with Angelic Feathers, this is a big step down. So, the things we gained. They changed our mastery. It no longer increases damage of Mind Blast, Mind Flay, etc. and now increases the damage of our dots as well as Void Bolt. Void Bolt is a new spell that is only usable inside of Void form and have a low cooldown that scales with haste. Void Bolt also refreshes the duration of our dots. Our new resource is Insanity, and you gain it by using certain spells, for example Mind Blast, Mind Flay and Void Bolt. When you reach 100 Insanity or 70 with a talent, you can activate Void form, and as soon as you do, your Insanity will start to drain. You now have to do your best to battle the drain and to stay in Void form as long as possible, since the benefit is huge. The way to do this is using spells that give you Insanity, as well as using those that stop it from draining. We have two abilities that do that. First one being Dispersion, and the second one being our new artifact ability, Void Torrent. While inside of Void form, you get a stacking haste buff as well as 20% damage increase. We also have a huge artifact trait that increases the damage from our dots with 2% for every second we are inside of Void form. Because of the stacking haste and mass hysteria, our best playstyle is to optimize everything to stay as long as possible inside of Void form, and we have a couple of things to help us do that. First off, the stats is now split in two, with Mastery and Versatility only giving us our raw damage increase, while Haste and Crit give us more damage as well as more Insanity. For example, if we crit with Shadow Word Pain or an artifact talented Vampiric Touch, we will spawn a spirit going towards the target. If talented, this spirit will give you Insanity. Second, we have more talents give us Insanity in different ways. In almost every case, I recommend going after a talent that gives you Insanity, with Twist of Fate being the only exception, since it is just too good to pass up on. Here we also have the thing that makes the class and the player good. A new talent that most people took as a joke in the beginning has shown to be game-breaking. I'm of course talking about Surrender to Madness. It has a 10-minute cooldown, and when you use it, it increases all of your Insanity gain by 150% for 3 minutes, or until you leave Void form. However, if you leave Void form or stay for the max 3 minutes, you die. I was actually finished writing this guide when they announced a nerf down from 200% to 150%. On most fights, this should be okay if you have really good gear. However, this can make you struggle on single target bosses. As I said earlier, going after the talents that help you stay for as long as possible in Void form and that synergizes well with Surrender is the key. Of course, we have some legendaries to talk about, most notable being the Waist and the Shoulders. The Waist give us 2 additional Mind Blast charges, so we actually have 3 now. This one is my favorite by far. Second, we have the Shoulders. If you can re-enter Void form with stacks of lingering Insanity, you get a head start because you start your next Void form with a couple of haste stacks, making it easier to stay in Void form for a longer period. Next, we have the Ring. It makes Mindseer spread Shadow Word Pain and Vampiric Touch to 3 targets when you use Mindseer for the first time you enter each Void form. Last, we have the Wrist. They just provide you with a passive damage increase by increasing our Void Bolt damage if your dots tick. And as I mentioned earlier, it's not something I like about the Shadow Priest. Most times we want stats that give you more Insanity, and in that way we do more damage. So now, how good are actually Shadow Priests? Well, first the sad news. While doing dungeons, I find the class to be bad. As so many times before, you actually have to work for your DPS, and it's not something that is just being given to you by simply pressing Barrage, Sidewinders and then a Mark Shot for example. We also always have something to cast, so while doing dungeons you often find yourself not really keeping up, and one easy solution could be going for talents that doesn't require you to press any more buttons, for example skipping out on Reaper of Souls for Void Lord. This allows you to get your dots up and focus on refreshing them with Void Bolt instead of casting other spells. With a long ramp up time, thanks to Void Form and Mass Hysteria, and often dropping all of our insanity between trash pools, makes Shadow really aggravating to play in dungeons, at least for me. And now the good news. In raids we are possibly the best class to bring. We might not offer the best of damage if one ad really needs to be focused down, but with proper play during surrender we bring insane damage that should be focused in the later phases, where most times the hard part of a boss fight begins. Overall, I would like to say that a raiding talent tree would look something like this. I would also like to say that a Shadow Priest scales really well with gear. And then a dungeon talent tree would look something like this. So, in the end, I thought I should rank us compared to our cloth friends, and their most likely to be played spec. This ranking is for raids only. In third place, I put Destruction Warlock, which is actually the class I'm going to reroll to. However, this is before the set pieces. With the set pieces, I would rank a Warlock as a second, perhaps even close to a first. In second place, I put Fire Mage, with an insane opener and one cool looking legendary that will work wonders on Xavius. They will be really good. So, yes, even with the nerf to surrender, first place goes to Shadow Priest. With a useless opener, but amazing execute, the sky is the limit for this spec. With the recent nerf to Roaring Blaze, I can't really see Warlocks getting any higher, even with the set pieces. So, good luck in leading everyone, and thanks for watching. If you wanna follow me on Twitch or Twitter, they are below in the description. And for all your shadows, just endure dungeons so you can really shine in raids.